The 21st edition of Highway Africa kicks off in Grahamstown in the Eastern Cape today. The theme this year is media accountability and local governance. Let's get more from our reporter Unathi Binqose, who is in Grahamstown for us this morning. Unathi, molo buti, and what do you have for us?
Palisa, a very good morning to you and a warm welcome to all our SABC News viewers. Indeed, we're coming to you live from Grahamstown. It is indeed the 21st edition of Highway Africa. It is by far the biggest gathering of journalists in the continent, and indeed we'll be discussing some serious issues that affect the continent. I mean, this conference has been trailblazing since 1996. I mean, it has been at the forefront of discussions on matters that have to do with the media in the continent, and its contribution towards the improvement of the continent, and of course the upliftment of its people. And of course, I'm not alone. I've been joined by the director of Highway Africa, Mr. Chris Kabuato. Say a very good morning to you and a warm welcome to this podcast, 21st gathering of this conference. Tell me, how have you made things different to try and improve from the previous 20 years?
We continue to improve the conference by being innovative in different respects. This year, we are hosting this conference in conjunction with the South African Communication Association, SACOM, which is a group of media educators. So for the first time in a while, we are doing a mix of practitioners who are the journalists themselves and media educators. The theme for our conference is media accountability and local governance. So we are also, again, for the very first time, moving away from the national or continental focus to actually journalism at local government level, and why it does matter to hold those in power accountable.
And of course, it comes at a time when the Auditor General here in South Africa has released some disturbing stats about irregular expenditure, unauthorized expenditure. What do you want to achieve with this conference here in South Africa and of course across the continent?
I think there are two things that we need to achieve. One is building the capacity in our newsrooms. We know what has happened in terms because of the digital revolution and the denuding of our newsrooms of talent and of people, of human resources. So one of the things is building the capacity of journalists to understand local governance, policy, budget processes, and all that. So that's one. The other is actually finding strategies on how do we build community media, how do we build small media, because small media and community media are where people live. So those are our two strategies, and we hope that we have successful deliberations around that.
Holding the executive accountable is something that is widely regarded as something that stalls the progress of Africa. Do you perhaps see traces of this changing within the continent?
I think for us as journalists, it is bringing the philosophy of accountability. At the heart of democracy is accountability. We go through elections. When we elect our representatives, we expect them to be transparent, to be accountable, and to be responsive to the needs of their people. Where does the media come in? The media is the interface between the elected officials and the citizens. So our role as journalists is the one then that we should be asking the uncomfortable questions. And therefore, in doing that, we inform citizens, and when they come to elections or any activity, they make informed decisions. And that's, for us, is really quite key. And we hope that we can be able to build the capacity of our journalists, but also then the capacity of our media to hold those in power accountable. And we can have a better Africa on the basis of good journalism.
Just before I let you go, looking at the delegates that were arriving here yesterday, I saw a lot of young journalists. Any logic behind that?
Well, the key thing that is there is we need mentorship. One of the missing links is really the older generation that has got all the wisdom and experience and the gap with the younger ones. So deliberately, we have targeted young people who have just started their career or are just 5 years into their career to come in. What we have done is, prior to this conference, we had 3 pre-conference training workshops. One was in science journalism, the other was in data journalism, and the other was in local government journalism. Again, building the capacity. But the young people, just like in any other area, they are the future of Africa. So it is important for us to invest in them.
Sir, always a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Chris Kabuato, the director of Highway Africa. And of course, like the authorities have highlighted, this won't be just another talk show. And of course, like we have highlighted before, it is by far the biggest in Africa. We have over 100 delegates coming from all across the continent. I can tell you that over 40 African countries are represented here. And of course, we do believe that when they leave this place, they will go back to their bases and make a difference. With that, allow myself, Unathi Binqose, and cameraman Vena to wrap and hand back to you guys in Auckland Park.